Good morning, everyone. This is Heike. You're watching stonecoldcoffeecrafts, and today is Flosstube episode 12. I have a nearly daily crafty chat video where I talk about my other crafts, diamond painting and knitting, on a nearly daily basis. I don't manage to do it actually every single day, but if you're interested in this stuff, please go back and watch the first 7 videos I did for that. Flosstube is, as of now, or let's say as of last week, stitching only. And if you're watching the daily videos, I am aware this might be a bit repetitive because I show my stitching in those videos as well, day by day. But Flosstube also has my haul if you're interested in that. And I think I'm going to keep any fully finished things for Flosstube as well. Not that I have any right now, but I think that would be something that would be nice in the frame of a Flosstube video only, just to give people a reason to actually watch these now that I do the daily videos. So anyway, this is week 4 of Stitch Maynia 2020. If you've been here before, you know that I did not do the classic Stitch Maynia. I did a mixture of Lindy Stitches, Stitch Maynia, and my own idea how I wanted to approach this, basically, because Lindy Stitches created this thing called Stitch Maynia, which basically said pick a project, a big project that has been in your whip pile for a long time, and set a goal, how much of it you would like to finish every week, and then on the weekends you can have a new start, which brings you, depending on how you approached this year, because Stitch Maynia started on a weekend, to 5 or 4 new starts. So I only started stitching last year, and I am a semi-monogamous stitcher, so I don't stitch on too many projects at the same time. Most of the time, honestly, so far I have stitched start to finish on the same thing without switching around. I'm not sure if I will go back to it after Stitch Maynia. Right now I think I will, because I actually like this concentrating on one thing and finish it feeling a little bit better than this combobulated feeling of what did I do last week again? Because I honestly just had to re-watch, or I didn't fully re-watch it, recheck what my status last week was and what I did this week, because I had already forgotten over all the changes. And thinking that I don't do daily new starts like some people do, or that I didn't do daily new starts until May 20th like other people do, that is kind of crazy. Usually I have my little furry assistant with me, but Lola is right now AWOL. I have no idea where she is. I'm pretty sure she's going to join us. So, how I'm going to do this today, we don't have any whips. Of course we have whips. We don't have any finished projects. We have 2 new starts, because I finished all my weekly goals last week. So I didn't have one for this week, which means it was all new starts. And the first new start I had was on the weekend with my crafty friends from YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, Rachel Ray from Rachel Ray Crafts here on YouTube, and Jessie from Mislaid Paged here on YouTube. And we decided a few months ago, and yes, I'm taking full responsibility, this is all my fault. We started the yogacorn stitch along. And what is the yogacorn stitch along, you ask? So the yogacorns are 9 cute little unicorns doing yoga poses from a shop, Little Room in the Attic, on Etsy. All the patterns are going to be linked below in the description box. And I saw them and instantly fell in love. The designer is one of these amazing but also completely crazy Russian or Ukrainian designers that do amazing patterns with a ton of backstitch and blending and all the fun stuff we hate so much. But you have to agree with me, this yogacorn looks amazing, even though the colors are brutally blown out again. So this is a piece of Picture This plus Haunted, and if you know Haunted, you know what this fabric looks like, and that this has no resemblance to it at all. Usually when I put it down on my table, the colors will adjust to a more accurate picture. It's still not completely accurate, but this is actually closer to what it looks like. So it all has a little bit more color than you just saw. We started this stitch along on last Saturday, and you are absolutely welcome to join in if you feel the need to torture yourself with this stitch, but achieving a cute unicorn in the end. And it doesn't matter if you only want to stitch one of them, if you want to stitch a group of 3, or if you are as gone as I am and you plan to stitch all 9 of them. There are also different patterns in the shop. So she has 3 patterns with 3 yogacorns each, and there are also 2 where she picked one out with the word Namaste underneath it. If you prefer to stitch one, I probably would see if you like either one of those and go with it, because finishing that in a hoop would actually be absolutely cute. So anyway, this is 3 days worth of stitching, and the back stitch on this monster took me about 4 to 5 hours and was no fun at all, but it is absolutely stunning what the backstitch does for the stitching. I have to admit that. I'm not completely in hate with backstitching. I enjoyed it super much on my soda stitch I did last year, but soda stitch also doesn't go that much overboard with it, so maybe that's the difference. We have some lines here that are stitched with 1 thread, we have one lines that are stitched with 2, and some lines stitched with 2, and some lines that are supposed to be stitched with 3, but I don't think I really did that all that often. If I remember correctly, maybe a couple of times, and only when these 3 things hit on the outline of the unicorn body. There were lines that were supposed to be 3 within the tail, the mane, I believe even around its eye, and nope. This was bad enough just with 1 thread, believe me. To get it right, to hit the right hole in the fabric, because especially the back stitches that were supposed to go in the middle of a Kreinik stitch. Ooh. There's a little bit of Kreinik backstitching here in the tail, down here and up here in that curve. There's a little bit here and here, but it's actually not as visible as I expected it to be. Maybe if I try to give you, yeah, I think there you can see it. But this unicorn only had the gold and the orange Kreinik, and I think some of the other colors, there's also pink, and there's a purple, there's a very bright electric blue in it. I think those might be a bit more visible. We will see. And I found out I don't mind Kreinik too much. It's pretty stiff, it's pretty metally, but check out this video I did on Tuesday where I showed how I stitch with Kreinik, and that I believe that I found a method to stitch with it that makes it a little bit easier, at least on me. Maybe you would like to try that out. It would require to be a two-handed stitcher though. Oh, I think Nelly is awake. Don't know if you could hear her in the background just now. Seems like she's awake. So, and after the first unicorn was done on Monday, I put it down and decided to take a day off stitching completely. The back stitch had burned me out a bit, I am going to be honest. And then on Wednesday, I picked up the pattern I've been looking for since the day she released it. And I started on Lindy Stitches' Beautiful Things pattern, her new bird sampler. I'm going to put the picture here because I have started on the words for this one. So the middle of the pattern is here at the T. That's why I started stitching the T, and on the first day I stitched my way up to the O, and yesterday I completed this part here, and I plan to complete the words first. I think then I'm going to move over to the border. Usually I adore borders. I have yet to stitch a border I don't like. So I don't usually mind to keep them until last, but I think for this one I actually want to keep the bird motif on the left for last. I'm not stitching this on the called for fabric, since I wanted to start this during Stitch Maynia 2020 and it was calling for a piece of Picture This Plus Earthen. I had no chance to get my hand on this. Picture This Plus is not sold in a lot of shops here in Europe. And all the shops I knew that had Picture This Plus didn't have this particular color either at all or not in stock at the moment. I could have ordered it from the Traditional Stitches in Canada. As you will see during haul, I would have received it in time if they had it on stock. Actually, I didn't check. But I decided to try a different route, and I ordered something you're going to see during the haul section, as well as this piece of 36 count vintage country mocha from Zweigart. And I think this fabric, it's extremely basic, and I sometimes have the feeling it adjusts to the pattern you stitch on it, because I decided to go with this one in the end. I thought the colors would pop off more. So far, I'm actually very pleased with how this is turning out. These are only the words, but I'm super pleased with how they look. They are somewhat all over the place, not uniform. They look a bit gnarly as well, so I'm absolutely enjoying this font. And I still have the my and the S from its and the true left, and then there are the smaller letters for the rest of the text. And I'm hoping that by the next time you see this, I will be much further along. I'm currently thinking about making this one here one of my exclusive projects I'm working on for June. I'm going to talk about this in the plans section in a moment. I'm stitching this with all the called for threads. I was lucky enough to get my hands on nearly all of them. There is, I believe, one color I didn't manage to buy. I'm not entirely sure, but I know that for one color I needed 2 skeins and only was able to buy one, which won't be a super big problem. I'm going to try to source that whenever. Although I'm not entirely sure if I'll actually need 2 of it. I have to check, because for this one, this is River Rocks by Weeks Dye Work. Is it Weeks? I think it's Weeks. I'm sorry, I'm so prepared. It's River Rocks. It's either Weeks or Classic Color Works, but I think it's actual Weeks. Whichever company makes this color. I'm sorry if I confused it. And I think I have to check the pattern again, but I think it's mostly the words that are stitched in that, and I was supposed to buy 2 of those as well. I'm not going even to use up half of the skein I've started, if I'm not entirely wrong. But I'll check it. I'm not mad if I have way too much of that color, because it's absolutely amazing. I don't think you can truly see it because the color is not true on camera, but I love me a good variegated thread, and this variegation is very beautiful. It's this taupey brown tone. I'm very much in love with it, and I'm stitching it 1/2. Yep, so this is what I've worked on this week. This time only 2 projects, but it's enough for me, quite honestly. So, plans. Stitch Maynia will be over in a couple of days, and then we are entering into June. And my plans for June right now are to stitch the Barbara Anna Spellville stitch along when it drops on the 1st. I finished the first part of it during Stitch Maynia, and I plan to finish the second part next week, right when it drops. I am lucky enough to have a public holiday on Monday, so I get a few extra stitchy hours. And last time I just flew through this pattern. It's so much fun and so easy to stitch. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the second part because she posted a sneak peek on her Instagram, and honestly it was so hard to stick to my plans and not try to stitch the second part just from the picture. It's only a 3-color pattern though, so it would have been entirely possible. Didn't do it. But that's the plan for next week. And I also plan to do these Flosstube videos now every other week again. So for Stitch Maynia I did them weekly, but with the daily videos I think I'm going back to every other week. I'm also currently getting better at not purchasing like a crazy person, so there's also not a lot of haul. So I think maybe every other week would be more interesting. Which means the next one would be on the 12th of June. Hi Lola, we've missed you. The 12th of June. Yeah, so basically then my plan until we meet next time for Flosstube will be to stitch the Spell Wheel Part 2 and then to pick one of my Stitch Maynia projects and try to finish it. And I'm currently thinking that it will be the Lindy Stitches because that is one I really chomped at the bits to start since the day she released it and I bought it. I think I bought it very close to release day, not on release day because I'm usually not on things that much, but it was very close. And maybe I will even manage to finish it, who knows. It would be fun. Also, I have to say I enjoy stitching on the 36 count. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't like stitching on 18 count either, so kind of surprised. Yeah, hi baby. Where have you been? Where have you been? We missed you. Alright, so that is plans. I also plan to get a few frames finally for some of the stuff I finished. I finished the Alice Stitch Along from Satsuma Street, and of course there's also still the 2 stitches from Owl Forest I completed in the last few months and still haven't framed. So I'm planning to do that. So that brings us straight into haul, and I'm going to show you the other fabric I got for the beautiful things because I asked Jukus from xJuDesigns, she is on Etsy and her shop is linked down below, to dye me a fabric that comes close to the color 3774, I think it was, because that was what 123 Stitch told me the closest DMC color to picture this plus earthen was. I'm not entirely sure this is true. And this is the fabric she dyed for me. Yes, cat. You are making this so super easy. So this is a 36 count, you have to move a little bit, a 36 count linen from Zweigart, and she dyed it. She calls this color light terracotta, I believe. She calls it terracotta mix. And it's beautiful, but it does not work with some of the colors in the Beautiful Things pattern. There are 3 colors that are from the peachy family and they completely vanish on this fabric. So I'm going to stitch something else, probably with cat hair, because there's now plenty of it on it, on this pattern in the future. And cat, you are, once again, an absolute menace. An absolute menace. And because fabrics from Jukus just can't travel alone, it's a law, you can't just buy one piece of fabric from her. I got a couple more that she had just posted and I liked. So this is one of her more splotchy, dirty looking fabrics, and I absolutely adore how this looks. This is a piece of jack-o'-lantern, a 13 by 13 inch, and this is a 40 count. And in all its glory, it looks like that. I'm using it as a blanket for the cat. I absolutely love how she does that. I know that in the US you can get some exclusives from Kitten Stitcher that you can only get at her shop that Jukus dyes, and those usually also look absolutely fantastic when I see them on your floss tubes, and I'm very jealous. I probably have to see if I can order from Kitten Stitcher and how much it will cost me to have it shipped to Germany. And the other piece I got because I thought this would be a fantastic neutral, and it reads very gray, very cold gray right now. It's more of a warmish gray. Is this 40 count piece of Drapple brown. This is a 13 by 19 piece, and it is absolutely stunningly beautiful. It's a great, great neutral. And this is what this looks like. Most of Juku's fabrics are subtle. Cat. They are very subtle. But that makes them also very beautiful. If I want something a little less subtle with a lot more modeling, I go to Picture This Plus, quite honestly. This is more for the subtle, not too much in your face, except of course for these. But she doesn't do these very often. The cat is on it now. She's on it. And she hates it when I sneeze. Excuse me. So last time, if you remember, I got a piece, half a skein of some of Jukus's hand-dyed floss. And it was called Marisca's Red, and I was completely in love with the color. And yeah, I might have bought some of it. Not too many, of course, because I know how to control my impulse. I think I have to go. So yeah, I bought 5 skeins of Marisca's Red, but I want to do some kind of sampler with it, and I thought 5 skeins would probably be enough for that. I hope. We will see. Isn't it stunning? It has this gorgeous variegation, and I am a person who absolutely adores red. So far, I have not seen a red sampler that I had a feeling I had to do absolutely. That's actually not my favorite look I have discovered, but we will see if I can find something that will change this. Yeah, hi, I'm sorry, I know I sneezed. Such a bad mom. And then I have one more purchase. I thought I purchased more, but I actually didn't. So maybe you remember from last time, I think it was it last time, I believe. I got the Winter Quakers from Rosewood Manor with the Valdani floss pack from xJuDesigns. I don't know if they currently have any in stock, but if you're interested, you can get notified. Just put your email address in the listing. I have put everything down below, and get notified when it is back in stock. I'm going to rescue my Juku stuff because she is now lying down on it. And believe me, ragdoll hair is no joke. And it's probably the finest hair I've ever seen on a cat. And it gets everywhere, and you can't get it out for the life of it. So I purchased the pattern and the floss from xJuDesigns, and the recommended fabric for this is Picture This Plus 12. So xJuDesigns does not sell Picture This Plus, sadly. I went and I searched, and there are actually a few shops in Europe that theoretically sell 12, but with the current situation, you can imagine that nearly everything is sold out, and restocking will take some time because Picture This Plus is absolutely swamped with orders. I think it was Beth Twist who said this week that they currently have a backlog of 8 weeks, or working time of 8 weeks for orders. So that's a long time. So I kept searching, and then I searched outside of Europe, and Google was so nice and put me straight back to Traditional Stitches, the shop who was able to finally get me that piece of Lakeside Linens for my Toils and Trouble pattern. And I contacted them, asked them, the picture of this plus you have listed in your shop, do you by any chance have that in stock right now, or do you need to special order it? And they had it in stock. Yay! So I went with the size the pattern called for, which means this is a 28 count. Because the Valdani floss, you are supposed to use this without separating the plies. So you are supposed to use it as it comes off these little balls of yarn. And I think then it's a good idea to stick with the linen size suggested in the pattern. I'm kind of surprised. Usually Picture This Plus product pictures come not very close to what the actual fabric looks like. But for Dwarf, it did. I was very surprised to see that it actually as blue as the pictures I found in various shops. So, but I'm here for it. It's a gorgeous blue. It's really, really beautiful. And I can't wait to see how this is going to turn out. This is going to be my high tea new start for July. Spoiler. So you already know some of my plans for July now. And if you don't know what high tea new start is, it's something that Caroline from Off the Grid Needlearts does. Look at that, isn't that pretty? Where she starts, oh, that has blown out quick. Where she starts a new pattern every new quarter on the 1st. It's usually something very special, hence the name High Tea New Start. And my first High Tea New Start was on April 1st, where I started my long dog sampler. The very special thing about that for me was that it's my first time stitching with silk. And this time it's going to be my first Quaker and also my first time stitching with Valdani floss, which I'm very curious about. So that's all I purchased. It's actually not very much, is it? And also, once again, Traditional Stitches, their service is amazing. I can only recommend them. Even if you are not in the US or Canada, their shipping is super reasonable. It's pretty quick even now. I was super surprised. It did take about a week. I think it might even have been less than a week for the letter to arrive. I don't know if it's because I've only purchased things small enough to fit an actual letter, and that's why it's going through quickly. But yeah, it does, and I'm very surprised. Also, the ladies working there and doing the online thing with people like me who can't order directly from the shop, they are so nice, and yeah, I can only recommend them. And if you see something in the shop that they don't have in stock right now, they are going to special order it for you, and they are actually not going to invoice you before they have it on hand. That's something I don't see very often. I usually don't have an issue paying for stuff when I order it, because the shop can be sure then that I'm actually going to buy it in the end, and not just be, yeah, no, I have reconsidered since then. But it's actually a nice service that I don't have to pay until they have it and can actually ship it out to me too. That's very nice of them. So anyway, guys, that's all I have for today. Other than the fluffy kitty butt. Jeez, I think half an hour is my limit. Then I'm starting to chopping my words and doing even worse grammar than usual. Sorry about that. Non-native speaker here, quite obviously. So anyway, that's all I have. I'm going to let you go now. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I hope you have a wonderful rest of Stitch Maynia if you're doing Stitch Maynia. I will not have a daily crafty chat on Monday, because Monday is June 1st, so that means there will be a new diamond painting theme of the month video, and I do not want to do 2 videos a day. I hope you understand that, but I'm sure you do, because so far all my viewers have been so kind with everything I tried, and yeah, thank you so much, guys. All right, enjoy your weekend, and I'll be back on Saturday, actually, also with Diamond Painting Theme of the Month to close down the month of May. I hope to talk to you then, and bye, guys.